Hi there, I'm Johnny. Welcome to Feedbackula, a brand new show starring, well, you. And also me. See, we've noticed you around, we find you very attractive, and we felt it was high time you got your own show. So, this is it. Each week we're going to focus on your views, your expert insights, and all of the dumb stuff you say when you think we aren't watching. And in a GameSpot first, we're even going to read out some comments from YouTube. Yes, those ones. We're going to take a look at one or two debates in brief before sinking our teeth into the juicy games burrito that is our issue of the week. Now, this is one of a few little experiments we're trying at the minute, and we'd love to know what you think of it, not least because it gives us some more fodder to use in the show. So, tweet using the hashtag Feedbackula, berate me directly on Twitter @JohnAir, or just leave a comment in the box below. Let's crack on, shall we? Now, as you may be aware, there's been no Start Select this past week because we're trying out a few different things, including this show. I know a lot of you were put out by that fact because you told us so. Please don't get rid of Start Select. This show has been part of my daily ritual for years, for instance from Karlsefsen. Or, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Start Select is pretty sick the way it is. Just say Ian, from Bogues24. Or turned it off after the Metal Gear Solid news from Metallic Wolf 29. Oh wait, that's not meant to be in there. 619 Cammy on YouTube, meanwhile, was less concerned about Start Select going on holiday for a week, preferring to threaten me with physical violence instead. I can't suppress the urge to backhand slap this guy, said 619 Cammy. Only too happy to oblige, Cammy. No, backhand.
Oh, sorry.
Don't say I never do anything for you. So, if you've been keeping your eyes on the site in the past week or so, you've probably had a look at Alien's Colonial Marines. Gearbox Software, developers of the Xenomorph 'em Up, put out a new trailer teasing Escape Mode, which is a mode in which you try and, escape. If you ask me, it looks pretty saucy, and it seems quite a few of you agree. We've had some really positive responses to the trailer. Tommy English, for instance, said wasn't sure about this game, but reading posts and watching videos, this looks awesome. Mr. Underhill, meanwhile, said incredible. These guys really seem to be working to establish the look and feel of the movies. Can't wait. I agree, Mr. Underhill. I'm particularly fond of the battle rifle sound, which is pretty true to the one used in Aliens. Listen.
They're coming over the rail!
See? Nerdonomicon, on the other hand, was a bit sceptical, saying simply, left for Alien. This, in turn, earned Nerdonomicon the wrath of Jester Smiles, who said, Nerdonomicon, do some research and stop talking out your arse. L4D was not original. Now, that's pretty crass, Jester Smiles, but you do make a good point. While there are undoubtedly structural similarities between Escape Mode and Valve's Boomer Basher, Valve hardly invented the format. It was around for a long time before Left 4 Dead, so trashing Alien's Colonial Marines for that is a bit unfair. You don't see anyone yelling at Call of Duty because Medal of Honor was a first-person shooter before it, do you? Oh wait, you do, actually.
Now it begins.
Moving on then, clearly excited, Narwhal was quick to quote the beginning of the trailer, thereby perpetuating the oddly popular and frankly disgusting trend for posting a sexy comment when a game looks fun.
It's slippery in here.
He said, "That's gross, Narwhal, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Unless you are actually a narwhal, in which case, yes, I suppose it would be quite damp where you are. Kudos for managing to type with that tusk in the middle of your forehead."
It's slippery in here.
Considerably less impressed than our aquatic friend, though, was Cyborg Guinea Pig, who straight up called out the game for being shoddily made. Lots of problems. Graphically, there are a lot of materials clashing. Some environment props are too dark, and some are too bright. Normal maps are overused on outdoor environments, and/or are probably being made by inexperienced artists, rushing to finish a product which was only 5% done when it was first re-announced. Multiplayer is being added to compensate for something else, most likely. Animations look stiff, lighting is off as well. Now, them's fighting words if ever I heard them, but do you agree? Do you consider the animations and lighting subpar, or are they right on the money for recreating the atmosphere of the original films? Let us know. Best comment wins a prize. Worst one gets you locked in a room with a face hugger. But before then, I've got a bone to pick with you. Sometimes in life, things don't always go according to plan. Ships sink, dogs knock over children, and sometimes video games get pulled from platforms. As you might have seen recently, that could well be the case with Skyrim's Dawnguard DLC, with Bethesda saying it simply might not be possible for them to get the extra content working on Sony's console. Generally, when something like this happens, people can normally be trusted to respond rationally and maintain a good grasp of the possible reasons for why it happened. In this particular instance, though, most people online seem to respond like this. Hey PS3 user! Dawnguard might be cancelled for PS3! Oh, f*** this! F*** Bethesda! This is Microsoft's fault. F*** them! Yes, rather than expressing, say, disappointment or minor irritation, or maybe considering the fact Skyrim is a huge game and the PS3 is more difficult to develop for, most people online seem to skip that stage and go straight to this. Bethesda, just say it! You're in Microsoft's pocket! You don't give a f*** about PS3! It's not that they don't give a f*** about PS3, they just don't have the resources, meaning they don't have the money to do this, and that tells me that they are broke as hell and they can't spend any money to buy better equipment. What a joke! Now you're telling me that you can't even get a download expansion to work on a major platform. I guess it's time to stop making games if you can't support them, or better yet, sell yourselves to Microsoft. Guys, the problem is called Microsoft. No cure available as of yet. And those are the more civilized ones. Here's one from YouTube. F*** you asshole, PCs were not made for games, f*** face, but games consoles are made for games, and PS Network's free, so f*** Xbox Live and Xbox in general. Answers on a postcard, please. Anyway, most overwhelming in the user reaction to this bit of news were the people accusing Bethesda of being on Microsoft's payroll and under explicit orders to prevent Dawnguard coming out for the PS3. In fact, this was the most commonly posited theory about the whole debacle. It's also the dumbest one. Microsoft are well known to pay for timed exclusivity on DLC, and that's one thing, but to pay a publisher to cancel plans to put something on the PS3 would be corporate sabotage, and that would be illegal, and therefore stupid. Besides, the people who have bought Skyrim on PS3 already own it. They're highly unlikely to throw their PS3 out the window, buy an Xbox and start the whole mumping game again, just because it's got an extra 10 hours of exclusive content. To be honest, Bethesda were pretty vague on their reasons for the threat to Dawnguard's future on the PS3. The official party line is, "We have tried a number of things, but none of them solve the issue enough to make Dawnguard good for everyone." Still, there's nothing really in there that says, "Microsoft paid me to do this." If I had to put money on it, I'd say the PS3 version is pretty buggy at the minute, and Bethesda aren't sure they'll sell enough copies to make back the money it had cost to fix it first. That would suck, but then again, Bethesda is a business, and they are entitled to make business decisions. Either way, it's certainly better than putting out a broken piece of DLC and charging people for it. Anyway, I realise some of you might have been angered by the last 2 minutes, perhaps feeling I was trivialising what is undoubtedly a very irritating problem. Well, you've definitely got a right to be angry, no one's disputing that, but anyone accusing Microsoft of corporate sabotage or Bethesda of being morally and financially bankrupt should just sort of chill out, really. If you do feel differently, please put your thoughts in a comment, email or tweet, and feel free to, well, come at me, bro. Almost it from me, just one last thought before we go. Killer187 took to Sean and Maxwell's Forza-related Ask GameSpot to ask, does the guy on the right's head remind anyone else of a light bulb? You know what, Killer? It doesn't, actually, and I think it's fairly disrespectful of you to say so. I'd say you owe Sean an apology. Well, that's all from this first episode of Feedbackula. We hope you enjoyed it, but even if you didn't, we'd love to hear what you think of it. Leave us a comment below, or you can find me on Twitter @Johnny. Failing that, just use the hashtag Feedbackula, or even email feedbackula@cbsinteractive.com. Now, without your opinions, we wouldn't have a show, so do us a favour and get talking. Catch you soon. Do it. No, backhand.
Oh, sorry.
Right, now we're done. Nice work.
Oh, my poor hand.